So I'm just going to do a brief video here on how to handle the tax relief that the federal government in Canada has put across for December and January 2024, 2025. So, I mean, one of the basic methods to get rid of the taxes, if everything in your store is going to be tax-free, is really just to go to your taxes and to set the rates to zero and exit your POS, relaunch your POS, and that will sell everything tax free. Another option is going to your product types and just selecting your various product types. And if that entire category is tax free, just remove the taxes temporarily. And then you can put the checkbox back in when the time comes. Again, in a restaurant environment, liquor, if everything, all your liquor is in the appropriate category, you could remove the taxes here as well. But liquor itself is not all going to be tax free under the new rules for those 2 months. So you can, if you want to, just leave your liquor taxable, but just make sure all your food categories have the taxes unchecked. Okay. Now these methods will all work provided you haven't overridden your taxes at the product level. So if you actually go into our menu designer, I've set up one of my beer items, Corona, and under product setup, under product types, we've actually overridden the taxes. So unchecking the product type is not going to remove the taxes. So it is going to be important to actually go through all your products if you have set this, and you make sure you uncheck this field. Okay, so that way if we go into our beer category and our product types, we can remove the taxes. And now that Corona, because it's getting its taxes from the product type, will become non-taxable.
So if you are one of those businesses where you have overridden a lot of your taxes at the product level, so you've overridden the product type, if you have a lot of products that you've done this to, it could take you a long time to actually uncheck all those boxes on each product. So if you connect with your installing dealer, they can log into your database and they can make those changes much quicker for you through alternate methods. So connect with your installing dealer for that. So one complicated tax issue that might occur to some businesses when trying to remove your taxes is if you're using what's called tax-inclusive pricing. So tax-inclusive pricing basically means that in our instance here, we have 13% tax embedded in the price of our product. Okay, so we can't actually just remove this tax because we've actually recorded the price of this product in the system with tax included. So just unchecking that is not going to make any difference. So we do have something in our program called price maintenance, and this would apply to retailers or to somebody in the hospitality industry, but we're just going to show wine. So this is a restaurant, and it's going to list all our products. And currently you can see that we have our sample red wine listed as $19.95, but that includes 13% tax. So just unchecking our tax checkbox, we would still be selling that wine for $19.95. So we actually have to remove, in our case, 13% tax from the price of that bottle of wine. So by selecting our product type, we've listed all our wines under that product type. We want our price adjusted, and we want to have it rounded to the nearest nickel maybe. We can select all our products individually, or we can do the select all here. So we've selected everything. And if we right click on this field, we can actually do a percent decrease. So we actually want to decrease our prices by 13%. Okay, so that'll be our new prices. We could save it right now, and that would apply the changes immediately, or we can right click here, and we could have these changes take place on a certain date. So we could actually say we want those changes to take place in December 14th or 15th, whatever the date was. So when we save this, on December 14th, we're going to modify our prices from $19.95 to $17.35, etc., all the way down. So at that point, then we can actually go back to our tax and deposit setup, and we could actually uncheck this, or set this to 0, sorry. So say that we're not removing any taxes. Or I would recommend that you would go to your product types, you would select your appropriate category, and just say this is no longer taxable.
And the last thing we mentioned, or I mentioned, was again, if you're a retailer, under your product types, you might have multiple merchandise product types, and not all your merchandise is tax-free, but maybe it's all within the same category. So just unchecking this would mean you'd be selling things tax-free that shouldn't be applied to the new rules. So one method we've put in to combat this, and it'll make making sales a little bit more complicated, but at least it'll get you through the process, is under a menu designer, under other, you can drag in a tax delete, which I've already done here. So I have my tax delete button on the screen. And how that's going to work is I'll show you. Okay, so to use the item tax delete feature, basically you're going to scan or sell the items by clicking them on the screen and immediately hitting your tax delete button. So it took the tax off that item, and again, it added the tax in. We take the tax off. Maybe this item is still taxable. This one is still taxable. But again, we sell this item, and we want to just delete the tax off that item. And that's how you use the tax delete feature if needed.